Hey guys, my name is Nate Routsong, and I'm the owner of Simplx Security and Certified Burglar and Fire Alarm Systems here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm excited to be able to partner up with Junior Achievement and be able to answer some of these questions regarding entrepreneurship and my experiences, and just be able to share some time with you today. I'll try not to make it too boring, and hopefully we can learn something together. So I started going back to, I guess, the very beginning. I'm from Northeast Indiana, grew up in Kendallville, went to East Noble High School, graduated class of 1999. And after high school, I spent a couple years in Europe, spent 2 years in Spain, and learned Spanish, did some missionary work there for a little while, and then came back and went to college. And so I met my wife in college, actually in Utah. She's from California, and we started Simplx just as we were graduating from school. So a company was established in 2005. Originally started while we were in Utah and still kind of finishing up school, and moved it back to Indiana in 2008, and have been here as kind of our stronghold ever since. This year is our 15th year again, starting in 2005, and just as how we ended up becoming certified burglar fire alarm as well. We acquired certified in 2017, and so been just over 3 years that happened. And so we one of the largest local alarm security fire alarm companies in Northeast Indiana. As far as a company structure, I guess we run 24 hours a day. We have a central monitoring station where we have operators that are responding to alarms that may go off. It can be anything from a home security system, where somebody tries to break into a back door during the night and the alarm would go off, to a fire alarm in a school that may go off. Our operators are just amazing, caring, trained professionals that receive those signals into our system, and then they respond accordingly, from contacting the customer to dispatching the police or the fire department, depending on what the emergency is. And so that's a 24-hour operation. A lot that goes into that. We do both residential and commercial, everything from, like I said, the burglar alarm systems to smart home. On the commercial side, similarly, we do burglar alarm, fire alarms, we do access control, like the card reader type systems, video surveillance. We'll build networks with Wi-Fi and structured wiring for network systems. And so it's very diverse. Its roots were very focused on residential and more wireless systems, and over time we've expanded and gone into a lot of different aspects of our industry. Most recently, we've expanded our life safety division, which essentially we are full service fire extinguisher company. So we service, we maintain, maintain emergency lights, and so that's also a growing division. So intro into the alarm industry, how I got into it. I was in college and just poor and needed to pay for school, and so that was really my motivation. There was a company that was recruiting door-to-door salespeople, and I heard they had free Little Caesars pizza, which was right up my alley at the time. Still like Little Caesars pizza, and went to the meeting, and everything sounded great, sounded easy. All these guys up there that had done it, and so I decided that was what I was going to do for that next summer. This would have been in 2003, would have been my first summer in the industry, and it was not easy. It was hard. My first experience, I was knocking doors, and I was in Denver, Colorado area, and it was a lot of cold calling and a lot of rejection. And I think that was an experience that really helped give me perspective and an appreciation for just as the company has grown, just how difficult it was in the beginning days to acquire a customer. One of the stories that I think about from that first year, I was very discouraged, but I called home and was ready to, I was probably feeling them out to see if they were going to be okay with me living at home again. I had a really good conversation with my dad, and I just knocked on a door and kind of stuttered and stumbled over my words, and just it was really messy. I remember going over to the corner of the street and kind of hide behind this big pine tree, and made a phone call home and told my dad what had happened. And one of the things that he told me that always stuck with me, and it helps even today, gives me perspective when I'm feeling discouraged, is he said that you are in the most forgiving industry that you could be in. It's sales. You can make a complete fool of yourself. You can stutter over your words like you just did. The people can think that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, and then go on to the very next door and completely reinvent yourself. The next person won't have any idea what you just did. And you can continue to refine and get better with each and every approach and each and every customer. And so that was a good early lesson about staying optimistic, starting over when you fail, and just continue to push forward. Did door-to-door sales for a few years, ended up becoming a sales trainer with the company, and ultimately as we were trying to figure out what we were going to do upon completing college, Tara, my wife, and I decided that we were going to start our own alarm company and established Simplx in 2005. As far as the big idea, why did we start the company? I think for me, one of the things that I felt lacked in the industry, and at least in my situation that I was in, is just the long-term relationship with the customers. I worked for a very large company, and we would essentially acquire a customer, and then they would get turned over to kind of a giant call center setting where if they needed anything, they would reach out to them and call, and they would dispatch a technician, and just the turnaround service and just kind of feeling like a face in the crowd that the customers experienced. It was discouraging. I think that security is very personal, and it's not something that you want to just tell anyone if there's a problem or if there's something private that has happened. And I really wanted to be a part of their team and being able to be there for them long term. And ultimately, that was our big idea. We wanted to be able to maintain our customer base and work with them long term, and make sure that we knew everybody that was going to be working in their home. We wanted to be the ones that vetted them, hired them, and make sure that these are people that we would trust in our home. Some early lessons, and I think just in general, if you're going to have a business, is just be prepared to wear a lot of hats, because early on there's just yourself, and maybe a friend, or maybe your spouse, or whatever those early days are. You're going to be wearing a lot of hats, and so never ever stop learning. And as new parts come out, new products, I want to be a part of that. I want to know exactly what we do and what we offer, and it keeps the job exciting. Another early lesson is just that service is your biggest differentiator. You don't necessarily have to go into an industry where you've completely reinvented the wheel, but you can set a new standard on what customer service is and attention that customers get from you. And I think that so many times people think that a business is a new product that is new to the market, but honestly, in almost every industry, best customer service can be the new product. Another lesson, I guess, that I learned early on and continue to try to focus in on is knowing your target market. Who is a prospect, and making sure that you spend your time, your effort, your energy, your marketing funds, no matter how little they are, making sure that they're zoning in on the market that is your best customer and who you can service the best. In our specific case, we service every consumer, from residential to small businesses to factories to all sorts of our customer base is very diverse, and that's one of the reasons I love our industry. We can help just about anybody. Another question that was on the list here is, what did the business look like in the very beginning? And I kind of spoke about that a little bit, but at the very beginning it was just my wife and I, and we had just one technician. And so I would go out and knock doors and try to acquire a new customer, and then we had a technician that would do the installations. So as we grew, we added a couple more people and added some more salespeople, but generally speaking, those first few years we kept it pretty small. One of the most important things to me from the beginning was keeping our product consistent, and I think that going back to one of the most important differentiators, or the big idea, is you can have great customer service, but that customer service can become very diluted if you try to grow too fast, and then all of a sudden what made you great, what made you different, ends up being the exact opposite. Some history on the growth. We had 2013 is when we really started to begin to hire more people. 2011, 2012, we were probably 4 or 5. 2013, we grew to 6 to 8 people. 2014, 2015, we started getting into the double digits, had 12 employees. 2015, it was a home-based business all the way up until then. So for 10 years, we worked out of our home. 2015, we purchased our first building, and then we had the space to really grow. And so we were up to 18 people by end of 16. By 17, we were up to 30 people. And then just the last couple of years, we're now up to about 45, 46 employees. And so we look a lot different than we did even 2 years ago or 3 years ago. One of the questions on here is, how did the growth happen? And I think that from an employee standpoint, one of our focuses is just team development and making sure that as we grow the individual teams, that we have competent and just supportive and the right individuals to lead that team. I think that was probably one of the things that allowed us to become more scalable, is just making sure that the leaders that we have within our organization are ready to lead and are able to support the team that they have. For me, one of the biggest lessons is just knowing that everybody has their own perspective. I think that one of the most important things of being a leader is being able to recognize that the way that you look at something is the way that you look at something. And it's not the way that somebody on your team is going to look at it. And that the right way to do it is probably somewhere in the middle, but that not leading by demanding. And I think that one of the best questions that I have learned to ask is what do you think? And I think that it really helps the members on your team take ownership for what the situation is, or what the project is, or what the problem is, because they've helped come up with a solution. I recognize their perspective, and then they can follow through to be able to work out whatever the situation is. And so perspective has been a big lesson for me. All right, what can you do now to prepare to be a successful entrepreneur? I think that if I could look back at myself when I was younger and still trying to figure out who I was, which I think I still am trying to figure out who I am, as that's probably one of the challenges of life, is just trying to figure out who we are as people. Solve problems. Don't just identify a problem, but figure out how to solve the problem. I think from the movie Robots, the phrase "see a need, fill a need," and those are really the best entrepreneurs, are those that can recognize a problem and also be the one that can actually go out and take care of that problem and fix it and follow through. Those are things you can prepare now. Who would you say your best customer is? For me, our best customer is one that was referred to us, and they're the best customer because they've been told by somebody that they trust us, and so it's a huge compliment, and it's also a responsibility and a duty that we have when somebody trusts us enough to be able to send a friend, a family member our way. You cannot drop the ball on them. And so I just jotted down that organic growth truly comes as people refer their friends, refer their families, and businesses can grow. They'll refer their other business associates. I was thinking back to the early days on some of our customers, and just I like to think of who referred who and who referred who, and to how this new customer came about. And I wrote down this one chain of events where Marcos referred Tony referred many, including Jerry, and Jerry referred dozens, including Lisa. Lisa referred Jamie referred dozens, including Joe. We did all of Joe's businesses, and he's referred many. And it just, from that first customer, you could have hundreds of customers. And it's just by making sure that product was an experience that they don't forget, and that they feel important, and that you do what you say you're going to do, and you follow through. That's all I have for a little bit about our company and about some of the lessons that I've learned. Just want to wish you luck, and chase your dream. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, I'm definitely here to cheer you on, and wish you nothing but the best.